Welcome to the Health by Haven podcast. I'm your host, Haven Quinlan. If you're a multi-passionate wellness enthusiast, then you're in the right place. I'm obsessed with learning as much as I can about the wellness world, and I want to share that with you. Each episode will dive into various aspects of health and wellness through inspiring and informative guest interviews with some solo episodes thrown in. Tune in for all things health, and let's have some fun, shall we? If you're tired of fad diets, restriction, and overcomplicated health advice, and you're ready to prioritize your health and make simple, sustainable lifestyle changes, I would love to work with you. Visit healthbyhaven.com/coaching to learn more about my health coaching program and book your free health coaching consultation today. Welcome back to the Health by Haven podcast. Today, my friend Megan Cottage joins us again to chat all about running. And today's focus is the recap of her 2026 Tokyo Marathon experience. This was Megan's 5th star in the Abbott World Majors series, and she breaks it all down for us, from training in the cold, wintry months to what it was like to travel all the way to Tokyo, what her cultural experience was like, and of course, we break down play-by-play of the race. Megan has been on the show twice before, on episode 53, recapping her London Marathon experience, and on episode 24, talking about her Chicago, New York, and Boston Marathon experiences, as well as being on the other side of the running experience, working on social media for the Chicago Marathon. So definitely go back and listen to those 2 episodes as well if you haven't already. And please join me in welcoming my friend Megan back to the show today to tell us all about her Tokyo Marathon experience. Megan, thank you so much for joining us again today on the Health by Haven podcast to chat all things running, but in particular today, we are very excited to talk all things Tokyo Marathon.
Ooh, yes. Can't believe, honestly, that happened to me. I feel like that was a dream race, and I planned for it for so long, and it was like, holy cow, it's happening. Is this real?
Yeah, a pinch me moment for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so let's just start there. Tokyo is one of the Abbott World Major Marathons. And you know, there used to be 6. Now we're introducing some more into the fold, but Tokyo is a big deal in the running industry. So right from the bat, for people who are listening, what are some ways that they could potentially run the Tokyo Marathon?
Yeah, so Tokyo is one of the harder ones to get into. It's a smaller field, so right off the bat, there's a less chance of getting a bib for said year, but there are a few ways you can obviously time qualify. I think it's different coming from the US. Like, I know we have 3 world majors in the US. When you start going international, it gets a little harder as a US citizen to go to the other races because they prioritize, their citizens, which totally understand and get. But I think the qualifying times are a lot harder coming from the US as opposed to if you were doing an American race. You can also do a charity, which is a super cool way to go about it, running for something bigger than yourself. So Tokyo's system is quite interesting. You actually bid on how much you're willing to raise.
Oh, wow.
And you don't know what other people are bidding, but obviously whatever you commit to, you are going to have to fulfill. So it's kind of like this gamble, like, am I bidding enough? But also you don't want to go like crazy high and have this huge goal, lofty, amount to raise. So it's quite an interesting process, but
I didn't realize that about Tokyo charities.
Yes. Yeah. It's probably one of the most unique ways to do it. A lot of other races, you fill out a application, and sometimes they'll ask you some questions. Sometimes it's kind of like, oh, we have a bib available, like whoever's willing to raise the money, first come, first serve sort of situation. But Tokyo's is interesting in that way. So definitely like a little bit of a a gamble, if you will, but keeps it interesting.
Yeah, certainly. And this was what number star for you?
This was 5. So we're getting up there. Yep. And then, so another way you can get into the Tokyo Marathon is if you have so many stars, they actually do lotteries for people who are working towards getting their 6 star. So I think you have to have 4 stars to enter this extra kind of special lottery, if you will, for those on that journey. And there's also another, like, they call it Road to the Majors. So you can like run a virtual half marathon, get an entry into a lottery. I think it costs $50 maybe. So you're kind of paying for an entry and then you're running a virtual race and you kind of get another lottery entry. And then of course they have the general lottery. So lots of different ways to get in, but definitely a harder one to actually kind of secure your spot in.
Yeah, no kidding. It is really like a game of strategy, I feel like now to run these major races.
Yes, I feel like I got lucky to have done New York when I did because New York is like pretty much impossible to get into these days. Um,
Brutal.
Even I've heard when you live in New York, it's like getting into the 9+1, like just getting into those races that you need is
Oh,
a
yeah.
gamble. It's
Oh, yeah.
crazy.
That is also like a strategy session in and of itself. And like I think I talked about it a little bit when I recapped my New York City Marathon because that's how I ran it. I did the 9+1. And you have to be like ready to register for those qualifying races to like snag your spot. It's a long-term commitment for
Yes.
sure.
And I ran the New York City Marathon by doing the virtual marathon the year before, which was
Oh,
also like register first come, first serve when I did it. But now I think that's a lottery
it
too. So
is.
there's a lot of luck involved in getting into these races. So when you actually get in, it's like, holy cow, this is happening. And
Yeah.
it is, it's like a pinch me moment.
Yeah, for sure. So let's take it back then to your training, like pre-race, because like you said, it is a whole thing to actually be able to be like, oh my gosh, I'm training for this big race. So once you were in, what did your training block look like?
So I have been doing a lot of races recently, not necessarily marathons, a lot of halves. Here in Charlotte, I was an ambassador for our local marathon. So a lot of races through that. And I kind of just level set with my running coach before we even started the training cycle. And I'm like, I don't want to get burnt out because I think
Mm,
that's the worst place you can be in a
hmm.
training cycle. Like it's already a hard thing to do. If you're not mentally prepared to do it, you're not going to be in a good place. So we chatted through that, and so we kind of took this cycle. I don't want to call it easier because it certainly didn't end up being an easy one with the weather that
Yeah,
Charlotte ended up
seriously.
having this. And I know you've had it way worse up in New York.
No,
Um,
everyone though has had a tough winter.
it was crazy. I kind of always enjoyed doing a spring marathon and running in the winter here because Charlotte does not get that cold.
Mm.
Well, I kind of ate my words this year and it got really cold. And for both I think 2 of my longest runs, we actually had snowstorm, ice storm. So I ended up doing them on Friday. Usually I'm a Saturday long run girl.
Hmm.
Ended up doing them on Fridays before work, which was
Oh
just
my gosh.
brutal. But I had friends that got up with me, helped me get through, did some on treadmills before it got light. So I wasn't running in the dark. We made it work. So I feel like we ramped up pretty quickly. I think I was only around like 13 miles, about a month and a half outside of the race, which is
Mm.
pretty low mileage
Hmm.
considering. And then we really just ramped it up that last month, kind of like boom, boom, boom. I think I went 14, 16, 19, like 3 weeks in a
Okay.
row, which is a lot.
Hmm.
Usually you'd probably take like a pullback week somewhere
Hmm.
in there, which I didn't, but um I kind of liked it. Like not to
Yeah.
like undercut training because I mean you have to train. You can't really skip shortcut a training cycle,
Yeah.
but it definitely helped me mentally to be like, all right, I'm not running these double digits for 3 months straight. And I did a lot of that because, spoiler alert, I'm doing another marathon in the fall.
Oh my gosh.
So I knew that I would be really training for a good year straight.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to come out of this, still feeling good mentally and not too burnt out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's such a great approach. And I think that's helpful for people to hear, whether or not they're runners. I think runners can relate to you. We all go through ebbs and flows of like when we're really loving running and we like cannot wait to get out the door. And when we're like, oh my gosh, like not another one. And for people who are listening who aren't runners, I think they see runners and they think like, oh my gosh, you guys are like these energizer bunnies that never stop. And like, how do you do it? So I think it's helpful for you to share that.
Yeah, I think another thing, if you're not a runner out there, I feel like recently we lost Jeff Galloway, who is
Mm,
a former Olympian. He was such a big proponent of people getting in, like normal people getting into running. And he's
mm,
basically the champion of the run walk method, which is what I do. I do not run
mm.
my full marathon. I have intervals and I will run for so long and then I will take a break and I will walk. And you can play with those intervals and figure out what works for you, but like that makes the marathon so attainable for anyone. So anyone out there listening, like if you want to, you can.
I love that sentiment. And you're right. He's such a legend in the sport. So I definitely encourage people to go look him up and read a little bit more about him. But okay, so your training block, a little bit less aggressive than maybe what you have done. But for people listening, you have a lot of marathons under your belt. So there is something to be said for that. Was there a particular training run where you were like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? And on the flip side, was there a particular run where you were like just clicking off the miles, like one of those easy breezy feeling where you're like, yes, like I'm gonna think back on this on race day.
Yeah, I do feel like when we got into those runs when I was doing them before work, that first one, I think I did 14 miles before work. And I had never even remotely run that much before working a full day.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just kind of weighing on me. I was like, can I even do this? I was anxious. I like didn't sleep the night before because I
Mm,
was dreaming about my run. I don't know if you
yeah,
do that,
I
but every long run
do. Yeah.
ends up in my dreams. It was a, a mental battle a little bit, but I that's the one I started. I ran that one alone, so I started in the dark. I think I started like maybe 5 a.m. ish. I did 5 miles on the treadmill. And I don't even personally have a treadmill, so I actually went to my parents' gym,
Yeah.
used their treadmill, and then I felt safe enough to like run around their neighborhood as it was still getting light.
Mm,
So I did the next nine around their neighborhood, and just, like the stop in the middle going from the treadmill to outside, it was like, oh my gosh, I still have 9 to go, because it kind of felt like I
yeah.
was like wrapping up my run, and it was like,
Yeah.
no, we're not even halfway. But when I got done with that, I was like, okay, that wasn't too bad. Like, cool, we did it.
Yeah.
And then another snowstorm hit the next week, and I'm like, wait, I have to do 16 miles before work this week.
Oh,
That's when a friend came. She is training for Boston. So she came with me, ran 10 miles of it with me. And I was kind of going to play it by ear. I was like, I'll run the 10 with you. We did an out and back. We were back at our cars at 10. And I was like, I'm just going to see how I feel. Like, if I go another mile, that'll be 2 back. If I go another 2 miles, it'll be 4 back. Like, we'll just
hmm.
see. And I ended up getting it all done. I felt great. I think running with people really changes
Mm,
my perspective, because if I'm being honest, I was not in a good mood when I started that run. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this every second week in a row. This is not fun. But she like really pulled me out. We chatted for 10 miles, and it was just so nice to like share that with someone and
mm.
have someone kind of pull you forward when you needed it. So shout out to Audra. She's the best. And then the next week I did 19 before work, and it
Oh
was
my
just like,
goodness.
it was crazy. But I felt good. I feel like this and it's only 3 miles, but 16 to 19 felt like a big jump.
For sure. I
And
agree.
it was kind of like, oh gosh, this is like really getting into, crazy town. But I felt good, we got it done. I thought about going for 20 just to hit that
Yeah.
2 number. Again, it's a mental game. Something about hitting 20 feels so much different than 19, but it got super windy. The weather was terrible. And I was just like, you know what? We're going to call it a day. And honestly, it all worked out. We still ran the marathon. We
Yeah.
still got it done. So it was all good, but there are definitely times where it was more of a mental game than even a physical game. Just getting those training runs in when you had to.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, props to you for navigating the weather and being flexible with your training plan and deciding, okay, like this is going to happen on Friday instead of Saturday. Cause I think that's a mental hurdle in and of itself. Like a lot of times runners were like, I'm speaking to myself at least, we're like very type A, very much like, this is a plan. This is when I'm getting this done. So it's hard to be flexible. And obviously we can't control weather. So like, I think that's one mental hurdle you really got around. And like the mental hurdle of training in a brutal winter, like gosh, I did not realize like how tough it can get. And so I'm just like very in awe that you were getting all those miles in the cold, stormy winter that we've had.
Oh, yes. Well, I feel grateful that I had friends to help me do it. And I mean, I felt grateful for the opportunity too. Like at the end of the day, you are training for something. That's a super cool experience, once in a lifetime. And you just kind of have to keep that at the forefront. And, the training is the tough part. The
Yeah.
race is the celebration.
I love that sentiment. And I try to remind myself that as well. And like some days, of course, you want your race to go, to a PR or a specific time or something. But a lot of times that's not going to happen. So it's a good reminder to kind of pull back perspective and be like, it's really dang cool that I'm out here, you know?
For sure. Yes, you got to all keep it in perspective.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go to Tokyo. Tell us about your travels there, because that honestly is the thing that like eventually one day I'd like to run the majors as well.
Mhm.
But that is a thing that is like almost more overwhelming to me is like traveling somewhere that far away and dealing with like all the jet lag and everything for a race.
Yes. So candidly, I was super anxious. Like, did I want to do this? Absolutely. Did I ever think about not doing? Nope. But was I crazy anxious about doing it? And I did it by myself. It's a weird time of the year. Tokyo is also like not just a nonchalant, like, sure, I'll go with you type of
Yeah.
trip. So I went by myself. And yeah, it's a 14-hour flight from New York. So just
What?
that was like, okay. I kept thinking like it'd be the end of the day, and I'd be like, 14 hours is longer than I've been awake today. Like I'm gonna spend that amount of time on a plane.
That's
And
rough.
it was kind of like, okay, let's get out of that mindset because that's not a great place to be. But I mean, candidly, I was anxious about it. But it all turned out okay. Like I chatted with you. I ended up flying through New York when New
Hmm.
York had yet another snowstorm.
Yeah,
That's the reoccurring theme of this podcast, I guess.
seriously.
Snow. Um, so I was super anxious about, first off, getting to New York from Charlotte and then getting out of New York, but that all went super smoothly.
Amazing.
My flight from Charlotte to New York did have to circle for a while because they were clearing runways and they talked about diverting us to Atlantic City, but
Oh
it
my
didn't happen.
gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm so
So
glad.
I was like watching on Flight Radar and I was just watching my plane. Like it looked like we were doing a track workout. We were just like
There you go. The
in the
plane was on
sky.
the running plan.
So that was a little stressful, but I stressed for nothing because we made it literally without a hitch. Everything was on time. It was great. Time moves differently when you're on a plane. Like
Hmm.
the flight was long, but when it was over, I was like, that was 14 hours. Like it was, I don't know. I can't explain it. I did upgrade. I had good seats, so that helped a lot. Not gonna lie.
Hmm.
If you can make that splurge worth every penny. I watched a bunch of movies. I watched I flew a Japanese airline, so that was a unique experience in that like a lot of their movies were in Japanese and they didn't have a
yeah.
ton that I could understand. So they had like one episode of Friends, and I think I watched it 3 times because it
That's
was just like,
hilarious. That's not something I would have thought of.
yeah, it was unique. But it was also cool. It was like a little like peek into what I was about to experience when I landed. So yeah, I got to Tokyo. So I left here Wednesday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't get to Tokyo until Thursday night around 5 p.m. So I lost
Wow.
essentially a whole day traveling. Um, and I think it was like a full 26 hours traveling, plus you lose 14 hours because they're ahead of us. So
Wild.
that was crazy. Yes, a big adjustment. Um, Jet lag wise, I tried this app called Time Shifter,
Okay. How did
and
that work for you?
it was kind of cool. I am a person who needs my sleep, always have been, at least 8 hours. If I don't get my sleep, I'm sick. Like it's just a thing for me. So I was very nervous about flipping my circadian rhythm on its head.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that app started, I guess, 3 days before I left, and it would tell me, hey, you need to get sunlight from this time to this time. And sometimes that was at night when there wasn't any sun to go get, but it was just like turn on every light you can, do what you can to get brightness. Then there
Mm-hmm.
were other times where it would be in the middle of the day and it's like you need to avoid sunlight. So the day before I left, I was literally working from home in a closet with my sunglasses on,
Oh
trying
my
to avoid
God.
all light. But it worked. I mean, I can't say it wasn't tired because I
Yeah.
was, but it really helped reset the circadian rhythm. And when I got there, I was tired. Obviously, traveling is exhausting in itself, but for the most part, I did pretty well. I think I was just waking up 4 or 5 their time, which is early. Like, don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong. But considering that was 6 p.m. here on the East
Yeah.
Coast, like that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So we that helped a lot. I highly recommend if you're doing like a big time change like that to try it. Your first one's
Mm-hmm.
free. Not an ad, but it worked for me. So definitely look into that. And I think another thing that helped is just like I got my sleep leading up to the race when I could. So,
Mm.
before I started the time shifter, I was just doing what I could to get my normal schedule, my normal sleep, and just knowing that I'd probably should bank some for when I'm not going to get it.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, I feel like anyone can benefit from that if they have a race coming up, even if it's local.
Yes, I think I don't know of anyone who like sleeps good the night before a race. There's just too
Hmm.
much on your mind.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Quick check in. How's your body feeling today? If you've been carrying old tension, maybe from an old accident, childhood braces, or just life doing its thing, then you're not alone. At Avoda Massage Therapy in Columbia, South Carolina, they offer something called craniosacral fascial therapy, or CFT, and it's amazing. This gentle, hands on technique helps unwind layers of stress and strain your body's been holding on to, sometimes for years. CFT helps your body move and flow the way it was designed to, improving mobility, calming the nervous system, and supporting your brain's natural function. Many people feel lighter after just one session, while deeper healing unfolds over a few visits. It's never too late to start feeling better, and your body already knows how to heal. Sometimes it just needs a little help. So go check out Avoda Massage Therapy in Columbia or learn more at avodamassagetherapy.com because healing feels so good when your body finally lets go. Okay, so I loved following along on your Instagram. I was like living to watch your videos. I was like, I can't wait to see, what you're up to. And so I want to hear a little bit about your cultural experience there before we get into the race.
Japan is you have to go experience it. It was an amazing experience. They are such a respective culture. I think that's something we kind of struggle with as a
Mm,
country as a generation right now. Um, just when you're waiting on the platform for a train, I mean, everyone's in a line. It's not like this crowd mentality where it's like push shove, I need to get on. It's like, okay, you were here first. I'm going to wait behind you. And then the next person is going to wait behind them. And it was just so orderly.
What a concept.
Um, right? No pushing, no shoving. I mean, I can't say I didn't encounter like the occasional rude person, but I don't even know if they were necessarily like Japanese. They could have also been a tourist, so I'm
Yeah.
not gonna like hold that against Japan. Um, I feel like just the way they'll bow to you to say thank you, to say hello. They kind of hand you things with two hands, just kind of in like this respectful, like gentle way. It's very wild. But I just love the respect, the care for others. I feel like a lot of times we're very much like me, 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 me. And that is a culture that is not. So it was so, so cool to experience. And I definitely think if Japan is not on your bucket list, it should be just for that. That it was a really cool culture.
Yeah. And where are some of the places that you got to go?
I spent 5-ish days in Tokyo, and a lot of that was, surrounding the marathon. A day devoted to the expo, a day devoted to essentially resting before the race,
Yeah.
a day for the race. And then I feel like I really only got like one good sightseeing day in Tokyo, but I did everything I could in that one day. And then I headed off to Kyoto for 3 days. Loved Kyoto. Definitely recommend. It's still a city, but it felt more cultural to me, whereas Tokyo is kind of like a lot of concrete. I'd almost like compare like Tokyo is to New York City as like Kyoto is to Charlotte, like still a city, but like smaller.
Yeah.
That's where I saw like a lot of the shrines, a lot of the architecture. Highly recommend their food market, Nishiki market. It was really cool. Lots of shopping. They have vintage shopping is a big thing in Japan. I may have made a little celebratory purchase for myself.
I mean, as you should. It's a big deal.
But yeah, Kyoto was probably my favorite. And then, I'm a Disney girl, so I also had to go hit Disney before I left. So I hit both of their parks, one each day. So that was a total of 2 days. And that is how I ended my trip. I figured I'd try to save the best for last.
I know. And like I keep saying, but we need to have you on again to talk about all the Disney races because we haven't really touched on those. And then you can tell us about
That's a whole nother world.
I know, seriously. And a whole other world of strategy, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Talking about hard to get into for sure.
Kidding. Okay. So take us to race day. When you woke up, what were you feeling?
The good thing about being jet lagged and waking up early is like I felt like I had the slowest morning before my marathon. And it was so nice because I felt like a lot of the times I'm trying to get as much sleep as I can because I'm about to run 26 miles. And then I feel like I end up rushing and trying to eat and too quickly and all the things. But I probably woke up at like 5 a.m. Took my time. I think I really even just laid in bed and kind of like relaxed a little as much as you can before a race. 5 a.m. there was like evening here. So chatted with some people, got some nerves out that way as well. And yeah, got ready for the race. So their race is also a point to point, but it has a lot of out and backs. So it's very mental for sure. Very flat race. I think it's actually a net downhill course, but you have to really kind of prepare for those out and backs because you're going to see people who are way ahead of you and you're going to see people who are way behind you. So kind of tried to, think about that and get my mind in the right space. I was very nervous about getting to the start. Again, I'm in Japan. I don't speak Japanese. I don't read Japanese. I almost even like took a trip out there the day before just because I was so anxious about it. But I was like reading through for Tokyo, you get this participant guide, and I kid you not, it's like 80 pages. And it was like almost, information overload because it was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what is important and what. So I was like trying to read through the start line area, and it was probably translated from Japanese to English for me. And I was just struggling to, it didn't make sense to me. Like I couldn't picture it. They had,
Yeah.
graphs and things to look at, but I was just like, this is making me anxious. But
Yeah.
I ended up seeing someone else. We were looking for the train together. She spoke English. She was from California. So we ended up making the trip together,
Oh,
which was
good.
nice. So we got to chat out through our nerves too together. And then, yeah, so they have separate areas for your corrals. So your bib in Tokyo, there's like a number for what gate you're supposed to enter. There's a color for what gate you're supposed to exit. You obviously have like your corral assignment. It's just like information overload on your bib, but it's
Yeah.
like kind of nice because you always have your bib with you. You know what you need to
Yeah.
do. So there were signs that was like green bibs this way, or, you know, I think I was J. I was Corral J. So like Corral J this way. And
Yeah.
it just made it super simple. So that was something I stressed about that again was easy peasy. Shouldn't have been a stressor, but
But
it,
I mean, I think people can relate to race day logistics being stressful no matter the
yes,
size of the race.
for
And
sure.
especially in a foreign country where you don't speak the language.
And something about the Japanese, they follow their rules. So I was like, I don't think if I miss this, if I'm late, I don't think they're going to let me in. So that is not going to happen.
Yeah.
Another thing about Tokyo last year, they actually ran out of water. It was a really hot year.
I
And
remember
for some of
this.
the later corrals, they ran out of water. So that was something that I was stressed over too. And this year they changed a rule where you could bring an empty flask. It had to be a certain size, but you could bring that in. And then they actually had water for you there to fill it in, like once you were inside security, inside your
Hmm.
corral. So that was like an unknown to me because they hadn't done it before. So no one could answer those questions. Are they going to have water for
Hmm.
us to fill it up? Are they going to make us stop at the first water stop, which
Yeah.
by the way, isn't until a 5K in.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So that was an immediate relief too. It's like I got in my corral, I see that there's water. Okay, cool, great. I dropped my bag off. I didn't have much in my bag, but I wanted like something salty right after the race. You never know, A, how you're going to feel after a race,
Hmm.
B, how long it's going to take you to get out of said race,
Yep.
and where you'll end up. I think I ended up about a mile the opposite way of my hotel after the race. So
Mm.
I got in a cab. I was like, we're not doing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
We're just paying the money and we're going to get in a cab and go. But I used the bathroom. Obviously, that's a stressor too. A lot of the times before, I feel like lines for porta potties can be
Yes.
ridiculous. I didn't even wait 10 minutes. So it's like all the things I stressed over
Yeah.
didn't even end up being the things I should have stressed over. Sat in the corral. They had, this was interesting. They had announcements going on about what to do if there was an earthquake. I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
oh, not something I thought I should be stressed about, but now I am.
Yeah. Thank you for adding to my list.
Right? So never experienced that before, but that was a unique thing to them. And I ended up sitting by a girl who she lived in New York,
Hmm.
but actually went to High Point University here in North Carolina. So we bonded
Oh,
over that. And chatting with someone just makes the time go by a lot faster.
yeah.
So we chatted until we got to the start. We ended up getting kind of split when we went to, get up, walk, go towards the start. But it was nice to like meet her, and couldn't even tell you her name, honestly, but she was like a little heaven sent angel for the corral.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's so good to be making those like race morning friends, especially when you're traveling alone. Now, my only major marathon experience is New York City Marathon, and that was many, many hours of transit to the start and waiting around before the race. Was this similar, or did you have kind of a quicker morning?
I would say it's not like New York. New York is by far the longest I've ever waited before a race. I was probably in my corral maybe a little more than an hour.
Okay.
But Tokyo actually has one start. So the elite started, I think it was at 9:10, and I was across the start line by, I think my Strava says 9:31. So
Wow.
within 20 minutes, they got 20,000, 30,000 people across the start line.
Wow.
I wouldn't say that's necessarily a great thing for the race because corrals definitely break up people and help with
Yeah.
crowding on the course. But
Hmm.
I didn't have to sit in my corral as long. So pros and cons.
True. It's a trade-off, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
So no, that wasn't too bad.
That's good to know. And let's chat through the first few miles then. Like once the race starts, how you feeling?
Yeah. I think the first few miles are tough because you feel good physically,
Hmm.
but mentally, you're like, we have a whole race ahead of us. So it's kind of that getting into the groove and figuring out what's comfortable and keeping yourself comfortable. You start at the Metropolitan Government Building, which is kind of big, tall buildings. And then you kind of get out into what I would consider like what I envision Tokyo being. So, like the bright buildings, the Japanese everywhere, just
Hmm.
Nintendo, Pokemon, that sort of vibe. I feel like
Yeah.
I started seeing some of that like a mile into the race, and I was like, all right, this is what I imagined
Yeah.
Japan looking like. It's kind of like I said, there's a lot of out and backs. So the first one is rather short, and I got that one done. I think maybe you're a 10K in, and I was like, okay, that wasn't bad, cool.
Hmm.
The next one is long, like 10 miles long.
Oh, wow.
So I turn into that first one, and then there's like multiple turns in this out and back. And I'm like, when am I actually going to turn around?
Yeah. Oh,
And
that definitely
so
messes with your mind.
it does. And it's like, how much further do I have to go? And every turn, you're like, is this it? And then it's not. And you're just like, oh no. Um, it's cool because you get to see the really fast runners ahead of you. I
Yeah.
mean, these people were like 10 miles ahead of me. So that
Yeah.
tells you how quick they were. But on the flip side of that, so Tokyo has very strict cutoff times.
Mm.
And they have signs up and it's by time of day. So it's not based on when you started. It is basically gun time. So when the race
Oh.
starts, whatever time the race starts is, I believe it's a 6 hour. Maybe it's technically 7 from when the race starts, but they have signs and they're like, this is a cutoff point and it has the time of day when that cutoff point will be closed. And they just pull a rope across the course. And if you're behind that rope, you're done.
Oh my gosh.
It's very intimidating. And I was never even near the cutoff. Like, I think I was about an hour and a half ahead of it at times.
Hmm.
But because of the out and backs, you see it happening. So
Oh.
you see on the other side, you see people getting pulled, you see the buses picking them
Yeah.
up, you see them cleaning up the race. And because it's not that close to you,
Yeah.
but it feels really close because you're watching
Yeah.
it happen. And that was a mental game to get over. That
Oh
was
my
tough.
gosh. That is not something that would have ever crossed my mind, but you're right. Just listening to you say that is like giving me anxiety. And also
Yeah,
like,
it's
like
heartbreaking.
exactly for the people
Yeah.
getting like swept off the course, basically like, oh, it's so soul crushing.
Yes. I mean, you train for months and months for this. You travel across the world and then like that happening is just devastating and you feel for those people. And so I there was a point in the race where I was like, I can't look over there. I actually like physically moved myself to the other side of the road. I
Yeah.
was like, I want to be as far away from that as possible. And I'm just going to look at what's on this side and I'm going to run my own race and we're going to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's definitely a mental aspect to Tokyo that I have not experienced before.
Yeah, no kidding. And I mean, I didn't realize, like, I haven't looked at their course that there's so many out and backs, but that's tough too to do
Mhm.
like tight turns.
Yeah. I mean, there's a way to, and I'm gonna explain this really terribly, but you basically like don't run the long loop. You like do a little step back and essentially like hairpin turn.
Yeah.
There were people doing that. I wasn't brave enough to do that. I'm like, I'm not gonna fall and break my ankle trying
Yeah.
to cut a few steps. But yeah, it's like I think it's one, two, there's 3 major ones where,
Wow.
and they actually have a sign. There's like, this is a turning point, because I feel like people were just looking for them the entire race. And
Yeah.
you're like, where's it at? But no, I mean, I felt good through, I think, probably mile 15, 16. That's when I was starting to be like, okay, it's getting hot. Of
Mm,
course, marathon day was the hottest day that I was in Tokyo, because
naturally.
that's how things work.
Yep.
So it started getting hot. There wasn't a lot of shade. And my body was just tired. I was
Yeah.
jet lagged. Like, there was a lot of stressors outside of just running a marathon.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, I did what I could. I was about a minute off my PR, which is sad, because it's like, oh, you're
But
so
that's
close.
like
But
amazing for a race
I,
that you've traveled
yes,
that
I feel
far
like,
for.
all things considered, I should be
Yeah.
really happy with that. Um,
I get it though.
the last out and back too, like when you know it's the last one, it
Mm.
actually you see a sign that says 1 kilometer to go, but it's not for
Mm.
you, it's for the other side.
Oh, brutal. Brutal.
So you're like, all right, well, I saw the finish, but I'm not there yet. And that's really when I started getting the pain cave. And we haven't chatted about this, but Tokyo is a very quiet culture, so there's not a lot of cheering.
Mm.
There were some signs, but very much they were all in Japanese, so I
Yeah.
couldn't read them.
Yeah.
Um, they would put, some people would have gloves on and like write something on the gloves and like wave. So that was
Mm.
like their quiet way of like cheering you on. Um, but towards the end, when you're in the pain cave, you kind of need some strangers to like pull you out. I will say there were people holding out, they're kind of like aerosol cans, I guess. And it
Uh-huh.
was, I think, their version of biofreeze, but it was in a can so
Oh.
you could spray it. And I actually ended up, I think I took it from 3 different people, because I tried it the first time
Yeah.
and I was like, wait, that was great. And so then the
Yeah.
next time I saw someone, I was like, can I have some more of that? And obviously, like, we can't really communicate.
Yeah.
But just still the fact that they were out there helping me. We
Yeah.
never spoke, but like they had such an impact on my race because they were out there supporting. So
Oh,
that was something that was like really special towards the end, and really cool to experience.
oh, I love that story. I mean, that's like running's global, you're like part of this community and you're there like supporting each other whether or not you know
Yep.
each other.
Yes, I think if you've never cheered for a marathon, go out, go to mile 23, 24, 25, and just you see humanity come out, and it is the most heartwarming thing.
Yeah. Oh, you're giving me the bug again, Megan. Look out. If you're a woman who's doing all the right things, eating well, moving your body, trying to rest, but you're still feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, or stuck, your nervous system may be the missing piece. Foundation of Stone Pediatric and Perinatal Family Chiropractic in Knoxville, Tennessee, specializes in nervous system based chiropractic care for women, moms to be, babies, and families. The nervous system controls everything from hormones and digestion to sleep, stress, and how the body adapts to life. When it's under constant stress, the body can't function the way it was designed to. At Foundation of Stone, care is gentle, specific, and supported by advanced insight scans that show how the nervous system is really functioning. Whether you're preparing for pregnancy, navigating motherhood, or simply wanting to feel more like yourself again, Foundation of Stone focuses on building a strong foundation for long-term health. Learn more or schedule a visit with Dr. Brittany at tnkidschiro.com. Okay, so maybe let's take us to like the last 10K. You said around 15, 16, starting to hurt a little bit. Bring us in those last like 6 miles or so. What was that like?
Yeah, that was that last out and back was probably a total of like 5, 6 miles. So again, it was a time where I was like, where's this turning around? Like, I know
Mm,
what's back there, but I'm not there yet. They did have, so you run by a bunch of different temples, and I didn't realize these temples are kind of like, it'll be skyscraper temple, like right there in the
Oh,
middle of
wow.
everything. And I don't think in my mind that's what I just didn't envision that. So it was cool to see things like that. Towards the end, you see Tokyo Tower, which is super fun. So things like that kind of kept me like, okay, like, let's look at this. This is
Mhm.
interesting. Let's get our mind off of something else. I'll also say, I had Rally, which is an app where your friends can like leave you voice notes, and I asked friends and family to do that for me because I knew Tokyo was going to be a challenge to do by myself in a quiet culture where I don't
Yeah.
know anyone, I don't have anyone on the course, and those Rally voice notes got me through. So if you guys ever see a friend who's running a race asking for or sharing their Rally link, please go leave them a 30-second voice message. You have no idea how much it means. It was so fun to hear. It's every mile. So I had 26 different ones to look forward to. And two of my running friends chose the last 2 miles because I think you get it. You're like,
Yeah.
you know what it's like to be in the 25th, 26th mile. And they said hilarious things. They said, encouraging things. It's like they knew exactly what to say and when to say it.
Mhm.
So that really helped me through too. And the
Yeah.
fact that I was like, I flew across the world to do this. I'm definitely not coming all this way to just not finish it. So
Right.
we're gonna get it done.
A different level of motivation.
Yeah. We're not flying 14 hours for nothing.
Yeah. Okay. So bring us into that home stretch. What was it like to come through that last like mile or so into the finish?
The last mile I say was probably my favorite. So there were crowds there, and it was the loudest I would say it was on the entire course. And I probably gave 100 high fives. Like people were just on the barricades, just holding out their hands. And I had the biggest smile. It made me forget everything was hurting. And I think it was one of my fastest miles as well because
Wow.
I was like focused on something else. And I was like, high five, high five, high five. That was super cool. Because again, I don't know these people, they don't know me, but just the support from a stranger in a tough time was awesome. And then you turn, the finish line is like right by Tokyo Station, which is like a huge station. And you turn left and you see the finish line. It's kind of, I feel like New York is like a big finish line in Central
Yeah.
Park. Boston, they have like the painted finish line on the ground, and then you have just um the word is escaping me, but they have up and over
Like the
the
arch.
the bridge, yeah,
Yeah.
like the photo bridge, I guess is really what it is. No, Tokyo is kind of just like two little pillars on both sides, and just like so minimal, and that
Yeah.
that really honestly is kind of perfect for the country and the area. But no, it was great. Crossed the finish line, got the medal. And another thing about Tokyo is that the bathrooms can be like really far off. So they don't really set up porta potties like in rows like you see at a lot of races. They actually take you to real bathrooms. So,
Oh,
like,
wow.
there'll be a bathroom in a train station. They have a lot of public bathrooms that are very clean.
Yeah.
America could never, but they take you to real bathrooms, and that means they're not right off the course. So
Mm.
I was like, I'm not going to use the bathroom. Like we're
Yeah.
we're going to train ourselves to not have to go and save that time.
Yeah.
And thankfully, they immediately had porta potties at the end,
Oh,
so
good.
promptly took advantage of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
And then they gave you some very interesting things. So they gave us a plastic bag first, which I love because I actually carry like pro tip, if you do a race, they give you all this stuff at the end and you're like trying to hold it in your hands and you're already
Yeah.
tired and you don't have enough hands. And so actually carry usually a little like foldable reusable bag.
Oh, smart.
So you like pull it out and you can just throw the water bottle, throw the Gatorade, everything they give in there. But they actually had the plastic bags for us. And let me think, we got like body wipes, which is cool. We got like fabric softener, which is
Oh.
interesting. A cheese cube, which is
All
not
right.
usually what I go for right after a marathon, but it was
Yeah.
interesting. What else? We got bath salts. And it
Okay.
did say in English to not eat those because I'm sure people are like, "Ooh, what is this?" Because
Like a
usually
rock
you get,
candy.
yeah, usually you get food at the end of a
Right.
marathon. There were just some very like bizarre things I'd never seen. So I came home and I ate the cheese cube. It was pretty good. I did pack the laundry detergent with
Yeah.
me, so I'll try those out eventually. But some very, very interesting things that they handed out at the end.
Yeah, seriously. Did you have any other food besides a cheese cube?
So in my checked bag, I always want something like salty afterwards. So I put a bag of potato chips in there, and that's what I
Okay.
ended up having because after a race, my stomach is already kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
we're iffy. We don't know what
Mm-hmm.
we want much food, but you have to eat something. And so I was kind of nervous to try things that I hadn't ever
Fair.
eaten before. That
Fair.
was the case on the course too. They had some interesting food. I think they had like pickled plum and like
Oh,
a cream puff. Like I didn't take any of it because I was just
yeah.
like, I have my gels. I know my gels work. We're gonna stick with those. But
Yep.
I kind of do wish I would have grabbed things just to try later. But in the moment, you're like, I just need to run this mile.
Right. And you're like, actually can't think about other food or I'm gonna hurl.
Yeah. Yes. Sadly.
Yeah, fair. Okay, I'm like going way out of order now, but on the topic of food, pre-race, like not even
Mhm.
just that morning, but like the whole time you were there, that would be a thing that would make me nervous anywhere outside of the US is like what food can I get that will settle well and like also like trying to get as many carbs as you can before.
Yep. I was nervous about the carb loading and just being jet lagged. I wasn't necessarily hungry when I should be hungry. And
Yeah.
so, not being hungry and then forcing yourself to eat way too many carbs is like
Mm,
not a good situation.
yeah.
But um, candidly, 7-Eleven came through for me.
I have
7-Eleven in
heard
Japan
this.
is
Yeah.
a whole nother world. So they have, I started off with these little pancakes, which actually I love these so much I brought them home. They're little pancakes with like butter and syrup in the middle, and they like make a
Hmm.
sandwich.
Wow.
So those were
Like
delicious.
a pancake uncrustable.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
And they were
Amazing.
so good. So that was easy carbs. I tried a lot of like they had a bunch of rice balls, so
Hmm.
very easy
Yep.
carbs. Onigiri did that. Um, I my actually my meal before the night before was pizza. Japan is actually known for having very good pizza.
Oh.
So I felt that that was it's not my normal meal. Usually I go like a chicken or rice or a pasta,
Hmm.
but I felt like pizza was going to be safe enough for me to
Hmm.
I can, get the toppings that I know and
Yep.
just call it a day. So I
Yep.
actually stuck with pizza the actual night before. Sushi has rice. So it was
Yeah.
actually much easier to carb load than I thought. I did
Hmm.
bring my own Gatorade because their version is called Pocari Sweat. And I ordered some before just to try it. I wasn't offended by it, but it like wasn't my favorite. So
Yeah.
I did pack my own Gatorade. So that's easy carbs. Some juice. I got some juices from 7-Eleven. Also easy
Hmm.
carbs. Sometimes you have to drink your carbs because
Yeah.
it's real heavy.
Yeah. No kidding.
But it was not as bad as I thought. It was actually very simple to figure out what I should be eating and how to do it.
Good to know. Hopefully that eases people's minds if they're like looking to run this race and they're like, how am I gonna fuel myself?
Yes, 7-Eleven all the way.
Okay, how'd you go out and celebrate?
Oh, so I am kind of lame. I was pretty dang tired after the race. It was like
Fair.
6 p.m. and I was like,
Yep.
I could go to sleep right now. I didn't, but I did figure out that they have Uber Eats in Japan.
Hmm. Yep.
And I Uber Eats some food to the hotel, and I sat there on my hotel bed in my nice new jacket with my medal, and I just had myself a little night in.
I mean, that sounds like luxury to me. So nothing to be ashamed of there.
I got a crisp Dr. Pepper. I wanted
Yeah.
that. And that was it. I called some family, chatted with them, but it was a very low key night. We saved our legs for all the sightseeing we were going to do the next
Yes.
day.
Yes, absolutely fair. Okay, what's next? I wouldn't normally want to ask you already, but you did allude to a fall marathon. Have you shared what you're doing yet, or is it a secret?
I can share it here.
Oh,
Officially official.
breaking news, breaking news.
Breaking news. We're going for our 6 star in
I
Berlin.
was wondering if you were gonna say this. Oh my gosh, so
Yep.
exciting.
I got in the lottery. I won the lottery in the
No
fall.
way.
Yep.
So
So I feel like it was
amazing.
meant to be.
Really was. Wow. Okay, so when does training start?
I think we're going to start in May. So
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of a downtime, which I'm excited about, but
Mm-hmm.
a summer training session is going to be brutal. So mentally preparing.
Yeah, it's just a whole different beast, you know? I always thought like, oh, I love training in the winter because the summer runs are brutal. And like that was very much confirmed when I trained for New York last fall because it starts in like July.
Mhm.
But oh my gosh, all the treadmill runs this year, I just don't know. I think I might prefer summer to like being stuck on the tread when there's ice on the ground.
Yeah. And summer, you have so much more daylight to get it in. I feel like that's a
True.
struggle in winter too.
Agreed.
Yeah. I did take some pictures in the long, cold training runs, like
Yeah.
added the little temperature. And I'm like, this is for me in the summer when I'm complaining about how hot it was. Remember how
Yes.
cold you were because it goes both ways.
Yeah, for sure. Grass is always greener, right?
Exactly. But
Um,
yes, hopefully we will get our 6 star in September.
wow. Okay. I hope you're gonna plan like a really big celebration for that.
Well, it's Oktoberfest in Germany, so gonna have to hit that up.
Of course. And I mean, you can definitely carb load there. Hello, pretzels.
Pretzels, beer, all the things.
All the things. Wow, that sounds amazing. What's like one big thing that really sticks out to you from Tokyo? Six or five, fifth star, Tokyo, the whole trip, the race. One thing that you're like, this is what I'm really gonna remember.
Oh gosh, it's tough to pick one. I think just experiencing that culture and the respect, it just kind of gives you like hope for humanity a little bit. I think
Mm,
it was just so nice to see people act in such a way with such respect and kindness and um, to be able to communicate with people who I can't communicate with, but
mm.
because they were just so kind and generous, it was really cool to experience.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Okay, for anyone listening who is interested in running, you've like given them the bug, like you've given it to me. What's some parting words of encouragement?
Ooh, if you can run a mile, you can run a 5K. You can run a 5K, you can run a half, and if you can run a half, you can run a marathon. So whatever you want to do, you can put your mind to. Like I said, look up Jeff Galloway. Like he is how I trained for my first marathon. The run walk method is an amazing way to get into it. And I mean, I still use it today. Tokyo is my 8th marathon. So if you want to run a marathon, it's totally possible. Is it easy? Absolutely not. But I think the best part about marathoning is going after something hard and achieving it. It's the best feeling.
Mic drop right there. I love it. Okay, Megan, if people haven't listened, you've been on the show twice before. I'll make sure I
Yeah.
link those other episodes in the show notes so they can go back. But if you fired them up and they also are like, we want to cheer you on to your 6 star, where can they find you online?
So I have a running Instagram. It's called meg.runs.disney. Again, with the Disney, that's where we started. Disney was our first marathon. So um, that's where most of the running content is. I feel like that's the best place to find me. And then if you really like Disney and not so much running, I have a TikTok too, but that's going down a whole nother route. We're gonna have to make some more running TikToks. I feel like that needs to be a topic of that
Yeah.
channel. But
Yeah.
that's M Cottage. That's where you can find me everywhere else. M Cottage. Super simple.
Perfect. Well, Megan, thank you so much. I had so much fun, like reliving the race with you. I guess living it vicariously through you. I wasn't there. Reliving your experience and, your words of encouragement for people, I think are going to really fire them up as well. So thank you so much for joining us again.
Thanks for having me again. Third time's a charm.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Health by Haven podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to give the show a 5-star rating and leave a review. It makes such a huge difference in reaching new people and spreading the joy of healthy living. I would also be so appreciative if you subscribe to the show in the listening app of your choice so you never miss an episode. Your support truly means the world to me. Have a happy, healthy day, and I'll talk to you again soon.